Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. In today's video, we are doing a reading and energy update for our beautiful collective here on YouTube. So I have no idea what's going to be coming through. I am recording this really late at night where I am. So the energy has kind of calmed down in the external world. And sometimes I find that that is my best creative time, because I think when you are someone who's energetically sensitive, sometimes even when you're in a quiet space by yourself, you're still picking up on what's happening like outside of that space, in your city, in your area, externally. And so for me, sometimes later in the evening, when that external energy calms down, I'm able to tap in internally a bit more effectively. So I would love to know in the comments if it's the same way for you, or if the way you experience your own creativity or the way you pick up on energy is different. I always really love hearing from you in the comment section. I really adore this community that we've been able to co-create together, and being able to support and inspire and uplift each other along our personal, unique journeys through this life here on planet Earth. So if you do want to be part of that, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel. But otherwise, I am going to go ahead and get into today's messages. So, whoa, apparently I am supposed to start with a 𝘠𝘠𝘋 card, because I went to pull our traditional tarot deck, but a 𝘠𝘠𝘋 card actually came out, which was the deck right beside it. So the card that came through from the 𝘠𝘠𝘋 deck is Sacred Union. It's interesting and maybe notable in some way that oftentimes, or at least in the past, I always used to end readings here with a 𝘠𝘠𝘋 card. You guys will know if you've been here for a while. And even still, sometimes I will close out the readings with a 𝘠𝘠𝘋 card. But it's almost like now things are coming full circle, or like the end is happening at the beginning, or interesting, leading with the end. For some reason, I'm picking up on like someone wanting a new beginning with you that ended things with you, or that's coming in to explain some kind of ending that happened in the past. But it's like the ending is the introduction, like the ending is what they want to talk about first. That won't be relevant for everyone, but I'm just getting this energy of like an ending happening at the beginning. Not sure why that's coming through, but let's go ahead and read from the 𝘠𝘠𝘋 card, or the 𝘠𝘠𝘋 Oracle card deck guidebook, I should say. It's interesting that this is the Sacred Union card, because of course, a traditional meaning of a sacred union card would be some kind of really high level soul connection that's coming together, or if it's not romantic, some kind of partnership taking place, maybe an internal balancing of your energies, something coming full circle, reaching a completion in a very harmonious way. So I'm going to go ahead and read from the guidebook here. The number 19 may also be significant. Maybe 2019 is significant for someone. Okay, and the guidebook said, only the oneness of love and the lover is eternal. Surrender your heart into this union, for all else in this world is momentary. 𝘠𝘠𝘋. And let's read another message here. You have been working hard to surrender attachment to plans and how you think things should go. Instead, you have intended to show it up for what it is, to seek out the genius of life through unconditional acceptance, instead of judging and fearing, resisting what is as though it were a big mistake, perhaps caused by ignorance within. No, you do not seek to hide from love anymore. You have been learning step by step how to embrace it and how to allow it to embrace you. What a beautiful journey you are taking. lucky angel. So your confirmation is thus: you are growing, you are evolving, you are making genuine shifts in consciousness that are allowing you to change the way you are in this world, to become freer, more loving, wilder, more divine. Accept this confirmation and acknowledgement close to your heart and keep traveling along your path of love. So, wow, first of all, that felt like a really beautiful way to begin this reading, even though it does feel kind of out of order since I usually would read that at the end. But I'm also picking up a message around control versus acceptance. For some reason, I wanted to say the word assessment. Maybe someone has had a test or an assessment lately, or you've gone through some kind of like seeming spiritual assessment or spiritual test of sorts. But what I'm getting is that you may be feeling as though there is this tug of war within you between control and acceptance. And I'm getting that for many of you, this is something that you actually thought that you already overcame. But for some reason, it's been surfacing again recently. And I'm getting that in part, it may be because of collective chaos. Like you may be picking up on a lot of chaotic energies collectively, or in a family system, or at a workplace, or in an environment. And it's triggering potentially this subconscious, ego-based mechanism to control instead of surrendering. It's like trying to gain a sense of certainty through control. But what I'm getting is that you've evolved to this point where the way you move forward, the way you progress, is not through control, but through acceptance, surrender, and flow. But this is no easy task. When most people think about surrender or acceptance or flow, they think of it as being almost like lazy or just being easy. But the thing about it is, it's actually very difficult to train your mind and to train your energy to stay open and flexible and aligned in such a way that allows you to stay in that surrendered state of being that is conducive to the flow state. And in a world where there are so many different people and influences and environments that are operating so opposite of that, that are trying to control and micromanage, it's easy as someone who's energetically sensitive to kind of pick up on some of those control tendencies subconsciously and to take them on as your own, or to feel or sense that chaos and then kind of grasp at this need for certainty through control. And so flow and surrender are actually very active processes. And it's interesting that this is coming up here because I don't think I've ever channeled anything quite like this before. So I may channel something on this on Instagram as well. I have been posting a lot lately on Instagram. So if you aren't yet following me there, my Instagram is at @magnetizeyourself. But yeah, I'm picking up on something between control and surrender. Now, for someone listening, we have the world in the reverse position. So there may be someone here who has found themselves trying to control at times recently, or to kind of grasp at that control because there is a sense that you are not moving forward quickly enough when it comes to a certain area of your life, that something isn't unfolding fast enough, or that something should be different than it is. And so it's like there's a part of your mind kicking into gear saying, oh no, I need to chase this or control this or work this out through the conscious mind to start seeing more physical results here, because I feel like I'm not evolving or shifting or seeing evidence fast enough of my own success. And I'm hearing your success is assured. Your success is guaranteed. So I don't know who needed to hear that, but that's coming through very strongly for someone. If you've been wondering, am I going to be successful at this? Am I going to achieve this? I'm hearing your success is assured. However, your path to that success is not going to be linear. It's not going to be something that is easily measurable by the conscious mind. It's going to be more so a fifth dimensional process where we've talked about this before, but when you are operating from a 5D state of consciousness, which you are if you're resonating with this video and understanding this material, it means your mind is at that level of fifth dimensional consciousness where you can understand these concepts that really are more so an energetic transmission that goes beyond words. But what I'm getting is when you operate from the 5D, it's not so much linear steps towards a goal as it is you have these landings, so to speak, where it feels like nothing is happening, but everything is being prepared ahead of you. And then you will seemingly step into what I've called before the quantum elevator, where you suddenly take what other people perceive as a quantum leap up to a higher timeline, and then you exit the elevator, and then you're in a totally higher reality that is represented by a higher frequency that you cultivated within yourself. So it's the internal work that then allows you to get into that elevator because you've shifted your frequency internally, and then you quantum shift into a new timeline that then naturally unfolds around you. And again, to people on the outside looking in, this process literally looks magical. But if this reading is connecting for you, you've most likely had these experiences where sometimes it felt like nothing was happening, and then all of a sudden some opportunity came in, or something major shifted, or something seemed to manifest all at once. That is very typical when you are operating in the 5D. So hopefully that kind of explained something for someone who may have been wondering about that process. Yeah, I see with the 9 of Wands to hold your ground on something. And I really feel that this is holding your ground when it comes to your knowing of the power of flow and surrender over control. So you've been feeling that internal struggle of control versus surrender, and you're being invited to hold your ground on the knowledge that you hold. Maybe you have developed knowledge about something specific, or you've developed insight on something and it's somehow being challenged, either internally, maybe your own mind is challenging that knowledge, or externally, maybe there is a person or a group or a system that is challenging this knowledge that I'm hearing you came into organically. Like somehow this is organic knowledge that you received or came into either through meditation, through life experience, through downloads. You came into this knowledge within yourself. And now it's being tested in some way, either because you're questioning it internally, or there are external people, forces, or groups that are challenging you in some way. And again, I just keep getting the message, like, hold your ground, hold to what you know to be true, even if you can't fully explain it to others. The reason you can't fully explain it to others in this case is because they don't hold the same level of frequency. So they quite literally do not have the energetic equipment to be able to comprehend what you are saying, even if they are hearing you from a physical perspective. I also feel like there's been some kind of major ending here with the 10 of Swords that may have left you feeling, I'm hearing, at peace, but also a little unsettled, which I know those things don't seem to quite go together. It's kind of convoluted, but let me explain kind of what I'm picking up on here. I feel that some phase of your life, or some way that you used to be, or it's almost like something just suddenly seems to be over. And there's this realization that a new phase is unfolding itself. Maybe you can't fully see it yet with the Moon card in the reverse position, but I also feel whatever has ended here, you may have ended it yourself because you received some kind of truth or clarity. Like, it feels as though internally there was something that you began to see about a person, a situation, maybe something in your life or something in your past. You began to see something clearly, and I'm hearing you can't unsee what you've seen. So you may have been the one to put an ending to something, although I'm hearing it had been kind of on the outs for a while, or it had been something that had been weighing on you for a while, or subconsciously negatively affecting you for a while in ways you may not have been fully consciously aware of until you received that clarity and you were like, wait a second, this was burdening me. This was really affecting me. I can't carry this with me into this next phase of my life. I'm ready to just honor whatever this has taught me and put an end to it, or let it go, let the cycle or the chapter close out. But I do feel that this has been, again, while it's brought you peace because you're acting from a place of clarity, and this has been a long time coming. And I feel you always kind of knew deep down this day would come where you would feel clear about this. But now that it's here, the ego mind is a little bit unsettled. So your soul and your inner self are deeply at peace, but the ego mind at times still feels a little unsettled and may try to grasp back into that past chapter for some artificial sense of control or certainty that it can no longer regain. And that is really the key here, that there's really nothing going wrong here, even if part of your mind or part of yourself does at times try to reach backwards, back into a chapter that's already closed or a cycle that you've already completed. There's nothing to latch onto there. It's over. It's ended, whatever this is. For many of you, I keep getting that this is less like one specific thing and it's more a whole phase of your life or a whole way that you used to interact with the world, or maybe like a whole persona, a whole version of yourself that you realized a while ago wasn't fully you, but now it's like you're ready to just close that chapter, is what I'm picking up on here. There's a stillness around you, and that's part of what is unsettling the mind, because the mind almost enjoys when there's some level of chaos, just because it can be distracting in a way that's almost like getting an adrenaline hit, or I don't know, being constantly in motion. Being in motion all the time is comfortable to the mind, but I feel if this reading is for you, you've been divinely placed in this position of stillness, almost like a void of sorts. And again, while your soul feels deeply at peace in this void, because you know it's not going to last forever, you know it's a void that came with your own sense of clarity and you making decisions, like self-supportive decisions, brave decisions from that place of clarity, the decision to close out that old chapter. While you know all of that deep down, there may be a part of you still trying to cling for control. And that is, I'm hearing that is to be accepted as well. When we talk about acceptance, it's not just about accepting things in our lives externally, but even accepting the parts of ourselves that aren't fully ready to accept certain things, if that makes sense. Accepting the parts of our mind that aren't able to always completely surrender. Accepting those parts of ourselves too that at times do try to control. Accepting ourselves in our entirety. And in fact, that self-acceptance is even more important than the external forms of acceptance. Accepting where you're at on your journey, knowing that so much more is unfolding, but also that you've accomplished so much so far. That is another message that I'm getting here, is simply to celebrate yourself, to celebrate how far you've come. I saw the number 1818 for someone. I just keep getting as well, though, that this stillness, this void isn't going to last forever. I'm actually going to look up the number 1818 because I feel like there is going to be some kind of significant meaning here. A message of abundance, personal power, and aligned manifestation, especially in areas like career, finances, and life purpose. 1 can represent new beginnings, leadership, independence, taking initiative, manifestation. 8 can represent abundance. And I'm seeing the infinity symbol like an 8 turned sideways, which of course is my name, but also I'm seeing like something about endless success, endless abundance, unlimited success that just like goes on and on. It also carries the energy of 9 because 1 + 8 is 9. Endings, spiritual wisdom, closure before a new cycle. Wow, that gave me chills because that is so connected to everything we've been channeling into here. The closure as you're closing out an old cycle, but before you've entered into the new one. That is the kind of void that I feel you being in if this video has found you. And I feel that you've called this video in for some deeper level of clarity, even though, of course, You are the powerful one. You are the intuitive one. You have all of the answers within yourself. My goal with these readings is simply to help you more consciously confirm what you already know internally. Of course, I always say only take what does resonate for you and what connects with your own intuition and leave the rest here. But I want to know about what cycle you're leaving behind. I'm hearing distractions. I feel like there were almost these like strings of attachment, maybe people in your life or connections or ways of interacting with people or with the world or parts of yourself that I'm seeing them almost as like things that you would give energy to that weren't really giving back to you, that were depleting you, that were distracting you in some way, distracting you from a higher purpose and calling. And when I say a higher purpose and calling, I don't mean this has to be something that we inherently consider spiritual. I mean the truest expression of you, of all of you, whatever that is for you personally, whether it's you as an artist, as a mother, as a creator of some kind, as a business person, as an entrepreneur, as a content creator. Whatever this is for you in a certain career path, it's the most authentic, full-blown expression of your beautifully human and soul self. Because of course, we're all both. We are both human and soul, and we are meant to express both of those aspects of ourselves. In a way, it's almost like that expression of both the divine masculine, more of the physical, kind of earthy, grounded side of ourselves, but also our divine feminine, the more mystical, spiritually connected, intuitive, creative part of ourselves. And I feel that as I'm speaking this, there may be things coming to mind for you that just like, maybe it's images or like flashes of feelings that are reminding you on a very core level of what it's like to show up as that fully expressed version of you. And that is what this new chapter in this new cycle is about. But you're kind of in the void in between. So you've left behind the distractions, things that were distracting you from that fullest expression of yourself, whether it was people, environments, maybe a job, certain situations in your life, things you were giving energy to that you've known for a while now on some level were just these distractions because of the way they were energetically affecting you. But I'm getting now you have this pure energy that is undiluted, that is undistracted, that can truly be unlimited, that you can focus into expressing as this fullest version of you. And that is such a gift. But you have to understand that whenever you close a chapter, there's going to be a void before you launch into the new chapter. And that is the void that I feel you being in right now, which may be in part a little bit unsettling, but again, deeply peaceful as well. It's almost this feeling of like, am I allowed just to be at peace with this? Am I allowed just to relax into this void and allow the unfolding of whatever is coming next? And of course, the answer to that is a resounding yes. That is exactly what you are meant to be doing. Relaxing into this void, accepting this void that you're in currently, understanding, like we said earlier, that your success is assured, whatever that success means for you, that it's going to unfold as you step into that quantum elevator and take some kind of quantum leap. But for now, you're resting on that landing. You're cultivating the energy of it within yourself. And I'm hearing peace is the key, maintaining your sense of peace and groundedness, a relaxed nervous system, all of those things is so crucial to allowing you to sustain the quantum leap that's coming. That's what I'm getting here. So what else can I channel about? Let's talk about this cycle that you're closing out. Is there anything else I can get from this cycle that you're closing out? The Queen of Wands in the reverse position. The Three of Pentacles in the reverse position. Okay, so for some of you, there could have been a feminine energy. This doesn't necessarily have to be a woman because the feminine and the masculine energies describe energy dynamics, not necessarily genders, and we all have a balance of both within us. But I'm picking up on a dominantly feminine energy that seems to be a bit jealous, demanding, possibly insecure. And I'm getting with the Three of Pentacles reversed that this energy was not like supporting you, collaborating with you, cooperating with you. They were draining you, but not adding to your life in any kind of meaningful way or supporting you when it came to things that were meaningful to you. You may have felt a lack of motivation or inspiration after spending time with this person or around this energy. It doesn't have to be a person. This could be a group. This could be an aspect of your inner self. It could be an environment. This energy also seems to be, I'm hearing very serious. Like they don't seem to have the ability to just like let go and be playful and laugh. This feels like a very serious energy, but also very much stuck in the past, like someone who clings to the past or ruminates on the past. Or again, it doesn't have to be a person. This could be an aspect of yourself. Maybe there was a part of you that, like a past version of you that used to ruminate a lot on the past or that dealt with a lot of insecurities, but you've completely embraced and healed those wounded parts of yourself. It's like you've entirely transformed your whole persona, where people looking at you now would never even know that you dealt with these insecurities in the past. Again, this won't be for everyone. This is one specific application of the energy. But for someone, I'm getting this Queen of Wands reverse may have been a part of yourself, like a wounded inner child, a part of you that felt insecure because your gifts weren't validated or really even understood or even treated as obstacles or as negatives instead of as the gifts that they really are. But I'm hearing you've learned how to honor and harness your unique gifts instead of trying to reject them or make yourself fit into some societal mold. And you've realized that the reason you had these insecurities is because you were measuring yourself by the wrong standard. You were always this unique, magnetic, beautiful, powerful, creative being, but because you were measuring yourself by some like artificial, societally constructed standard, you may have always felt as though you were falling short. But I'm hearing that is like how the Matrix keeps you entrapped by creating some kind of impossible artificial standard for like beauty or success or happiness or connection or love, and then making you feel as though you're always falling short. But you checked out of that matrix-based reality, and you're now creating your whole own reality, your whole empire. And now you're completely confident in yourself because I'm hearing no one can trick you into being insecure. You know how beautiful you are. You know how blessed you are. You know how powerful you are. You've reclaimed all of that knowledge of yourself, and it can't be taken away from you. And I'm getting people who reconnect with you now, who knew you then, feel like they're meeting an entirely new person. They feel like you're not even the same person as you were then in like the most amazing way, just because of the level of shadow work and inner work that you've done to become this version of yourself. It's truly magnificent how much work you've put in to become this version of you. And it's something to truly celebrate. With the Two of Cups in the upright position, I really feel like the cycle you're exiting, you always felt as though when it came to either love, relationships, or maybe like a partnership, if this isn't applying in love, this could be like feeling as though, again, either like a romantic person is missing from your life, or feeling as though there's like just some part of you that hasn't fully shown up yet, or something in your life that just hadn't fully come into balance, even as you've now made those changes to become this highly conscious, highly aligned version of yourself. And I'm getting that this is the chapter of your life where that so-called missing piece, that thing that always felt like it was missing, which for many of you, I feel is harmony in your love life or some kind of romantic partnership or connection. But whatever that missing thing is for you, this is the chapter where that comes into your life. But I get that this whole chapter you're closing out had to happen first because of how powerful this partnership is that you are calling in, whether it's a romantic partnership, like an internal union, or some external partnership or opportunity, something that always felt like you were longing for it, but it was kind of missing from your life. You had to be prepared for whatever this is because it's so powerful. So I want to know more about this. I'm going to pull a few more cards on this before we head over to the extended, because this Two of Cups, that partnership card, really did surprise me coming out here, but I feel this really represents a lot of what's coming in on this new timeline. Again, it doesn't have to specifically be a love relationship for you, but I do see this being an era of balance where you attract in a lot of profoundly exciting and supportive opportunities, people, forces into your life. Yeah. With the King of Pentacles in the upright position, this is an era of wealth, success, security, abundance for you, however you define those things. Can I get any information here? I'm getting that for some of you, though, there is a message with the Nine of Swords and the Ten of Swords that you may be picking up on the collapse of the old cycle or the old chapter. So if you've been feeling lately like it's been difficult to sleep at times, or your sleep schedule has been out of whack, or you've had feelings of like deep grief or deep sadness or anxiety that seem to come out of nowhere, I've talked about this before, but this can sometimes happen when we are closing out a cycle or a chapter. It doesn't mean that we are going back into the pain or back into the wound. Sometimes when we experience that grief or that sadness or that anxiety, it's because we are actually experiencing the release of the wound from our system. It's almost like once it exits our system, we have to re-experience as it's like moving out, but then we let it go, and then it's something that we are free of. And so I see that some of you may have recently kind of felt the reverberations of a closing chapter or a closing cycle. And I feel that even then, intuitively, you kind of knew, even if you were feeling sad or anxious or like feeling these heavy emotions coming up, a part of you knew this doesn't really feel aligned with my current state or my current reality. This feels like something I'm closing out or letting go of. And that is correct. You've only been feeling like the echoes of what you're releasing that no longer has any kind of hold over you. And after that release, you're going to notice yourself actually feeling much lighter and much clearer, happier, more at peace naturally, because that wound or that negative vibration is no longer stored subconsciously in your energy body. So I'm going to go ahead and take this to the extended. I'm very curious to see where this reading goes next. So if you do want to join me there, you can listen either from Patreon or YouTube memberships. And the link to listen is in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. Otherwise, I am sending you all huge amounts of love. Leave me a comment and let me know what connected for you. And as always, I will connect with you here again in Friday's collective reading.